Our next guest is one of Hawaii's hottest up-and-coming entertainers with a passion for music and a gift for making people laugh and enjoy themselves through his energetic and unpredictable stage performances. He is also a cancer survivor and founder of Prayers on Wings, whose purpose is to help build bridges of communication between children in crisis and their loved ones. Please welcome to the show, Devin Nakasone.
Aloha, Devin.
Hello, Devin.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Devin, you were a judge along with Ikaika's brother, Kahoano.
Yes, I was. That was stressful, but it was fun.
Nah, it was fun. It was fun.
It was fun.
Good fun and great talents, and it's a tradition that continues, in doing Hawaii Stars. But Devin, I was impressed by your organization, and would you tell everybody out there what Prayers on Wings is?
Prayers on Wings is a foundation that we started in November, and in less than a year, we obtained our 501c3. So that means all deductions are tax deductible. And what we do is we build bridges of communication between children and their families in crisis. And what crisis actually means is being that I'm a leukemia survivor. We started with something as simple as cancer, but it actually branched out to where we work with families within the Hawaii Children's Cancer Foundation, the families with the neonatal intensive care unit, which is with the March of Dimes. We also deal with cardiac children.
Wow.
We also was blessed to work with the American Cancer Society also in this not even a year. So what we do is you paint your own ducks workshops.
Yeah, you have this rubber ducky project, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And we do these paint your own rubber duckies where the child and they can pick their family member. So we've got two ducks going on, and the child will paint the duck for their loved ones.
Oh,
and the loved
beautiful.
one will paint the duck for the child.
Wow. Why do you do it that way?
They do it that way because what they're doing is they're building a bond, and at the end of the painting, we do a little ceremony where they exchange the ducks, and from there, it's a promise that they will be able to share everything and anything that they want to tell each other through going through their crisis.
Right, and you have an interesting story about the rubber duckies and what it means to you in terms of building communication. So can you share that?
Yes, I do. The rubber ducky actually came from when I was going through my chemotherapy. I went through 4 years of chemo.
Whoa, 4 years of chemo?
The reason why I went through 4 years of chemo was because when I was diagnosed at 11, I was 98% leukemic.
Wow.
So 98% of my cells were all white.
And they weren't. That is kind of a not too good looking picture for the future, right?
It actually wasn't. So I started chemo immediately, and from there they took another test about a week later, and I was blessed to be in remission from that day forward, and I never had one relapse.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the amazing thing.
That is amazing.
And during this time of the chemo, it didn't make anything easier with the chemotherapy. That was a really hard time, and because I had all this, it was the focus was getting me through to the next day physically. They just wanted me. My parents wanted me to be alive the next day and the next day.
Right.
But during this 4 years, I watched them suffer financially.
Yeah.
I watched them fight, because my mom felt one way and my dad may have felt another.
Right.
And during all of this, I had all this bad feelings that I never shared.
Yeah.
I felt regret. I wish I wasn't here. At that time, and this is 11 years old.
Yeah.
So all this negativity was being held in within me, and I never got to tell them. They never knew that I felt guilty, that I felt
that you were the burden.
You are right.
Yeah.
And so how the rubber ducky came into play was I had a regular rubber duck, and I used to tell the rubber duck my problems. It was the only way that I could could get it out.
Right.
You know, so my original mission, Kimo, was to give every child a rubber duck. And then one day I said, why do I want to do that when it didn't help me? And I said, a child or anyone should not be talking to a plastic toy, because a toy does not cry with them. It does not give them answers. It does not do anything. You know, so I said they should be talking to the person that they love and going through the crisis with.
Wow.
So I said, you know, why don't we use the rubber duck as just a symbol, and actually try and build a bridge to where they go through the crisis together. Because when you go through the crisis together as a family, survival is easier. Yeah. So that's where everything came from.
Yeah, and you know, that's exactly what you've done, is exactly created that opening of communication between your parents and you in that light, right?
Right. You know, every day is a healing day, even for me. You know, like I said, I went through so many things and after the chemotherapy, and through my teenage years, even my adult years.
High school.
High school.
What high school?
Wanalua
Wanalua
High School.
All right.
I was the mascot. I was only 4'8" when I was.
You were the mascot. No, you were the Ali, brother. You were the chief.
In spirit, I was. I auditioning for a mascot. But yeah.
What was the mascot from Wanalua?
The Menehune.
One of the Menehune.
Oh, the Menehune. Okay.
Menehune. You catch what he said?
Yeah, no, I got it now. Yeah.
I get it, man.
Okay.
Just trying to explain.
I put it together. Yep.
Oh. Yeah, so now you go through all of this stuff. You get into high school. You know, that's a big arena, and you're going through all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. How do you share that with other people, or do you?
You know, when I was diagnosed, I was 6th grade. I was in the middle of 6th grade.
Uh-huh.
So back then, cancer education was just not there. You know, nobody could even spell the word leukemia. No one pretty much they couldn't even pronounce it. And what was really bad was my grandmother just passed away from it maybe a few years ago.
Oh wow!
So my family watched my grandmother suffer for years on end, and she had the worst type of leukemia. So when I got it, not only my family but my friends, I was kind of shunned away.
Yeah.
And it was nobody's fault. It's just because of, you know, no one had the education.
Right. So back in the day, they probably thought it was maybe contagious or things like that, right?
Yeah. They thought it was contagious. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two was they didn't want to hurt me.
Yeah.
Because I looked different.
Right.
Because I was totally normal.
Yeah.
You know, for half of the year, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
so they was afraid to hurt me. They didn't want to touch me.
Right.
I had a catheter coming out of my chest.
Yeah.
You know, and all of that. So
Wow.
they couldn't, you know, it was best if they just didn't play with me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was. And then after the hard time of the chemo, I was still going through my 8th grade and then my early high school years. But I was, you know, spotlight as the kid with cancer.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was just a quote normal child.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody, oh yeah, that's the kid with cancer. So that's the spotlight.
Yeah, that's got to be difficult, huh?
It was a
Kind of like gives you a stigma, yeah.
you know, it's when I look at my other friends, I would say it's difficult, being that that's the only way that I knew how I was going through school. I accepted it, but yeah, it probably could have been a lot easier.
But you know, the thing that we don't realize, and all of us now who are looking into the radio and hearing your voice and hearing what you were able to go through and still accomplish. Because, you know, we saw you, and many people will see you on TV on Hawaii Stars as a judge. Mm-hmm. But to talk about the things that you actually had to go through and your family had to go through, and now where it's at, and you know, then the big step is you're giving back. You're making a difference. You're adding wisdom and knowledge to stigma and fear. It's just tremendous, brother.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what makes it really very easy is now, which wasn't offered before, is you have a team of psychologists, social workers, counselors that are there for the good about us is, yeah, you got somebody that actually went through it.
Right.
So, so I do pray that, all the other organizations, make use of that.
Yeah.
Because not all the time, a doctor will go through it physically, or have gone through their own chemo or their own battle. They're on the other end.
Right.
Yeah, I got to tell you that Leilani Kupaho Marino, who's here with us, is a NICU nurse.
Awesome.
She was at Kapiolani, and now she's presently at Tripler Army Medical Center. And you said you work with the NICU?
Yes, we do. We work with the NICU unit at Kapiolani, which is my home.
Okay.
That's where pretty much I grew up during the whole chemotherapy time.
Wow.
Under the care of Dr. Robert Wilkinson. So, yeah, that's like the best doctor in the world, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we were trying to get into the Tripler neonatal too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what?
So this is a great meeting of two people who are involved with the NICU unit.
It'll be awesome. The NICU unit provides us with this education because it's not the children. It's actually the immediate family. So it can be the grandpa, the grandma. It could be the aunties. It could be right there with the mom and dad, and they age anywhere from 17 to in their 40s. So every family is different.
Wow.
So I mean, bluntly said, some babies are coming out, some babies just got in.
Yeah.
Some. So when we do workshops with the neonatal, it's never the same.
Okay, and so I think a prayer has just been answered, brother. We're going to connect you. I want you to hold on. We're going to connect you with Leilani. And, definitely as you're moving through this and as we want to keep this relationship and keep talking to you about what you're doing with Prayers on Wings, okay?
That would be awesome.
And Devin, there's a way to donate to the Rubber Ducky Project, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
We
On
have
a
a
website?
website. Yes, we do. It's www.prayersonwings.webs.com.
Right.
Everything has an S.
.webs.com.
Yes, .com. And then you can like us on Facebook too. We always have our events coming up. Our main event that's coming up very soon is on October 7th, which will be at the state capitol, at the Children's Youth Day Fair.
Oh, yeah.
We have a booth. We'll have the workshops going on. We'll have mini ducks, and we'll have the regular ducks that we do use. They can sign up for workshops. If the workshops are full, then the kids can come by and paint the mini ducks and get a button. We got logo buttons.
Right on.
So look for us.
And that's going to be a perfect Sunday, October 7th, Children and Youth Day. And where will you folks be now?
I believe it's a booth 4.
Booth 4.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
If I got that wrong,
Downtown, connected to the Palace and City Hall and all that stuff, yeah?
Yeah, it's gonna be
all over the place.
They're expecting like 40,000 the whole day.
Wow.
Yeah. It's going to be
huge
beautiful.
event. So
Okay.
everybody comes and visits us.
Okay.
I have to say too that idea about painting the rubber duckies and giving them, swapping them with each other with the close family member was kind of a genius idea, Devin. As I was reading it, I was like, wow, that took a level of high intelligence to kind of make that happen.
Well, it's actually very, very simple, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes the simple things make everything work.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, man.
Kimo and Devin, if I could share a story, this is Leilani, and it goes back
Hi.
to Ducky.
Morning.
Just in wrapping up, I was a pediatric hospice case manager in San Diego with our agency there, and one of my last boys, Daniel, before he passed away, every time when I'd come into his home, I knew how he was feeling by the way his duck, we had a Daniel duck sitting on the couch, and either the fuzz would just hang over his eyes or it would just be pushed back, and you'd see these big bright eyes on this little stuffed ducky. When he passed away, Daniel Duck was given to me by his family. And so it really is one of those mementos that takes me back to a young man who was just so beautiful, but also with what you share.
And can be remembered if
Yes.
we move it forward to
Yes.
what Devin is doing right now.
Yes,
yeah?
Devin. So we'll be happy to introduce you up to
Okay.
Triplet.
And
That would be great.
So we got to take a break. Unfortunately, we have to take a break right now. Stay right there, Devin.
Okay.
Leilani will get in contact with you, and we'll take a little break. I'm Kimo Kahoano.
I'm Ikaika Kahoano,
This program brought to you by
the Pacific Center for Economic Development and its Pelletron companies.
reaching out to the community. Happy Aloha Friday.